Nigeria's creative industry sector is thriving. However, experts believe it is yet to live up to its full potential. They say Nigeria's creative industry has the capacity to contribute $100 billion annually when the government creates the enabling environment. Bettina Nwelih tells us more.
Nigeria is arguably the powerhouse of creativity in Africa, and over the years, concrete efforts have been made to develop Nigeria's indigenous IP regime. The earliest attempt to developing Nigeria's IP dates to post-independence Nigeria. However, these many attempts have not been fruitful as Nigeria has failed to fully exploit the benefits that could accrue from proper management and protection of intellectual property rights in the country.
You don't have a problem with intellectual property. People create incredible intellectual property here, and as it's being consumed by the whole world, there's tremendous demand. And as you see that grow, the demand for protection of that intellectual property will continue to grow. And I'm so glad that we had a chance to bring the Assistant Secretary of State for Economic and Business Affairs here today to talk about intellectual property and explore ways with members of the industry on how we can continue to work together to build up those protections and enforcement.
Policies and frameworks and implementation that are very much in line with our times. So we have that. We have a recently updated Copyright Act. We have a Ministry of Arts, Culture, Creative Economy. We have international organizations focused on the creative sector. So it's really to say, how can we be more strategic?
A piracy study by the Business Software Alliance revealed that Nigeria is ranked among 25 countries where piracy is most prevalent. This, coupled with infringement of IP rights, is the lack of an efficient deterrent enforcement system. It is apparent that reforming the IP legislation alone may not achieve optimum results in protecting IPR holders, except the mechanism for enforcing the law is equally enhanced.
When you don't have representation and you're entering into a marketplace, it is going to be a difficult process for oneself. When you have someone who's able to have those intentional conversations that are thinking about issues that you're not necessarily thinking about, that will be the best way to position yourself in the highest capacity. I think that when you're not having representation and you're having the dialogue by yourself, that leaves you susceptible to issues that you don't want to happen. And I think that when you're able to have someone who's able to have those difficult conversations to talk about your worth and talking about your value and making sure that you are protected is what is key.
This is a much needed conference because I'm a lawyer by training myself, and in the creative industry you can see that a lot of people have suffered when it comes to their intellectual property and infringement of their different kinds of rights, and sometimes it borders on knowledge when they are not even aware. So this kind of conferences, especially that is focusing on the creative industry, I think is going to go a long way in correcting some of the wrongs that have been done in the past, and into the future is going to help creative make better decisions.
Intellectual property should now be perceived as an important source of economic growth process in developing countries, as the problem of counterfeit products, which cause huge annual losses to industries and reduced tax to GDP ratio due to lack of documentation, can be addressed through adequate intellectual property rights protection measures. Bettina Nwelih, reporting for News Central.